Do we all owe Negley an apology? What a performance against Wrexham, and another 3 points for Millwall. It's going to happen, you know. Welcome back to our lads. Welcome at 3 very happy Wall fans, fresh back from North Wales. How are you all doing? Mike, Tom, and Rufus are here to give their view on, should we actually be apologising for some of the slander that Negley has been receiving. Let's get into all that. Also, we're talking about just how brilliant is Alex Neil, plus who else impressed against Wrexham this weekend. A couple of debuts to talk about as well. Plus, this week we're also talking about when you're a young lad, who was the first Millwall player that you fell in love with, obviously ahead of Valentine's Day this weekend. Plus, our A to Z rolls on the letter O. Apparently, there's one only right answer for this in the comments last week, so hopefully, these three don't let you down on that. Thanks for your comments last week. We read every single one of them. Brilliant as always. Let's jump straight into it, though, shall we, Mike? Flowers for Negley. This week, Reese Raid says, simply lovely. First half was naff, but that second half was beautifully played. And Negley was amazing. I could fill a whole 100 slides with Negley praise this week. Yeah. Should we apologise to him?
Yeah, to be fair, since we had that sort of midfield crisis and he got moved more central, I think he's been sensational. I think he's finally found his position. I don't want to see him sort of in that right wing 10 role. I think he's been amazing. I think he actually got booed off a while back because of his sort of performances. He sort of weren't up to par. He looked very sort of, it just wasn't, we were sort of using him as a winger and he's just not a winger. And yeah, he's come on leaps and bounds, and now I think that's one of the tough sort of things, you know, Alex Neil's got to figure out in the coming next 15, 16 games is I would say he's pretty much one of the first names on the team sheet now. And you brought in other players, you got Bannon, you got Smallbone to come back into it soon enough. And then, yeah, it's not a problem we're really used to having.
I mean, we can go back to some of our podcasts from early December, Mike, and we can go through the vitriol he was getting online. My goodness, who'd have thought we'd be saying first name on the team sheet? But yeah, absolutely brilliant. He's not the only one that was getting plaudits. Rufus as well, though. Billy Boy here says that Mitchell and Denora partnership is absolutely phenomenal. Rico says, yeah, Billy Mitchell and Negley, superb today. Talk about that partnership, that Mitchell and Casper partnership's looking good.
Yeah, I think Mitchell and Denora in the midfield together is looking really solid. They've both had their injury problems throughout the season, but now they're both back fit. Hopefully they'll stay fit throughout the rest of the season, hopefully. And hopefully they'll keep on playing more consistently week in, week out, because they're so solid in the midfield. They can control the midfield. They're good defensively, and they're good going forward as well, sort of linking the play up. And I think they've just got a really good, solid partnership. They really understand each other really well. And I think the partnership and how they're playing is just going to improve and get even better, I think.
Yeah, there wasn't much in that first half, Rufus, was there? What needed changing for you?
I think in the first half, both teams looked quite nervous in the game, and I don't think either side showed their full attacking intent or were going for it enough. And I think in the second half, we just stepped up more and just showed that more attacking intent, and we really went for it more in the second half. I think we were up for it more than Wrexham were, to be honest. And I just think that's where it went in the second half, who was going to be up for it more. And I think the first goal was going to be crucial as well in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Tom, you were there. Who impressed us for you? I mean, we'll go to Tommy Watson in a minute, get your view on him. But yeah, anybody else we should be shouting out?
Just all the lads. They were brilliant. I mean, in the first half, it was a nervy first half, but I think the difference was we weren't finding Barry Bannon in those pockets of space that he was finding himself in, because you could see him visibly frustrated. And it's not nice seeing your player throw his arms about here and there. But I understand it, because he was finding these pockets, like they had a player that was also finding those exact same pockets, and they were finding him and they were creating a lot of chances in that first half from him. And we just couldn't find that with Barry Bannon. But then in the second half, we were finding him and he was able to spread the play a bit more to his ease. We were able to just create a bit more. And it was a really, really good display. Defensively, we were solid. It was brilliant.
Excellent. Just staying with you, Tom, on this fella. Honest Millwall says, he had a short cameo, but from what we saw, he definitely looked very comfortable on the ball, never panicked in possession, and brought us forward a few times. Not bad, considering that he hasn't played in a while as well. Yeah, what was your view on Monsieur Watson?
Yeah, he was really good when he come on. He was a bright spark. He's just that kind of creative player that we missed off the left, who wouldn't be afraid of running at players. He's just like Femi Aziz out on the left. It's exactly what we've needed. But where we had it with, for example, Tierno Ballo, where he's a bit not as physical, he'd be a bit afraid to take his man on. And then you had Idemo, who would take his man on, but he wouldn't have that end product. But Tommy Watson, he'd beat his man and find the pass. It's just that missing spark we've needed.
Yeah. Cheers, Tom. Mike, O'Neill's comments, post-match comments, alluded to the saves made by Max, some big ones as well. One in particular that was certainly going to hit the back of the net. Led to some comments about the goalkeeper saying, "Yeah, he played very well at yesterday at Wrexham. He's sure he's got a big set of balls, and that, here's an interesting point, Patterson isn't just going to walk into this team," which I found interesting, and I wanted to get your view on it, because I thought Patterson would walk straight into this team given the issues we've had with goalkeepers. But is that more in doubt now?
No, do you know what? I wouldn't even say there's really been huge issues. I think the big issues with goalkeepers with us at the minute is the fact that his distribution is not really good enough. But in terms of his shot stopping and keeping the ball out of the back of the net, you can't really fault Crocombe. And to be honest, I thought Patterson would come straight in, but not that Crocombe deserved to be dropped. It was more so that what Patterson could offer by coming into the team. We had, funny enough, I put it on X last night that in the last 9 games, we've only conceded 5 goals. We've kept 5 clean sheets. And, that's not just because we're so good at the other end that, the best form of the defence is attack. But Crocombe's doing his bit as well. There was one or two very good saves. I think there was a couple of saves that looked maybe better than his routine, I would assume, for a championship keeper. But it's his place to lose now, really. And to be honest, if we go to the end of the season and, I don't know, he keeps 70% of clean sheets between now and the last game, and we've just paid Patterson's fees, then maybe that's helped Crocombe step up, and he's playing for his World Cup place in the New Zealand squad. He's got a lot riding on it as well, so I don't think he's literally gonna step aside.
Okay, we'll talk about Sheffield Wednesday, of course, in a second. And before we do, Rivers, we've got to talk about the manager in particular. You started to look at the league table, and you notice that little gap now between yourselves and 7th. Are you getting a little bit excited?
I'd say excited, yeah, but the key thing is what Jake Cooper also said in his post-match interview: don't get too far ahead of yourselves. We still got to keep on winning games and just keep that gap away between as well from the other teams sort of trying to chase into the playoffs, and we got to keep playing more consistently. And I said the other week that we got to make sure we pick up points in every game, 3 points or 1 point. Make sure we're picking up points every game. Just keep doing what we're doing, basically. Stay consistent and, just keep on going into each game, 100% effort, just try and get something from every game we play.
There's lots of talk, Tom, about manager of the season, who that should be. I mean, Norwich fans reckon it should be their manager for turning their season around. Lampard, Kim Hellberg, of course, at Borough, as we speak, are just putting a couple of goals past Sheffield United. But surely Alex Neil's got to be in the conversation for what he has achieved and the style of football as well. JJ says sorry, that's the wrong one. I'll get rid of that one. Where's my other one? There he is. Steve says he's so understated. He's always so calm. He's so professional. If you compare that to Lampard when Coventry win and those embarrassing fist pumps, he's and we need a better song for him, I think, don't we? Than what we currently got. But, is all that so right? He is just. Should he be manager of the season?
Honestly, give the man his props where they're due. He is incredible. Honestly, since I've been alive, he's the best manager I think we've had. Best football I've seen under him. He's just the way he conducts himself. He's always so serious. You don't get a smile out that man. And compared to Lampard and compared to your Nathan Jones theatrics, he's the complete opposite. He's just a stone. Like, you see nothing. He just wants to win. And I think he is up there, manager of the season.
Yeah. Rufus, do you mind your manager being so expressionless? Do you just want to see him run down the touchline now and again when a last minute winner's been scored?
Yeah, I mean, just to be honest, as long as we win games, I don't really mind if he's happy or doesn't show it. Just as long as we win games, if I'm honest. I don't want to see him doing like Nathan Jones, like praying on the touchline and stuff, running down the touchline every game and stuff. That's not what Millwall really is. But I think Alex Neil, he suits us perfectly, really.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, I think when he was first announced, I still remember now the groans, the collective kind of sighs from Millwall fans going, "Oh, he's not going to get us, is he? He's not going to, he's not going to understand what we're about." But yeah, how wrong we were as a fan base.
Yeah, it was a weird one. In my sort of group, we were sort of a bit optimistic about it, but I don't think we predicted how well it would have gone either. I think I understood where we were sort of changing direction, and obviously Harris kept us up by some sort of miracle, really. Before, and then there was a bit of a Harris against the board, and it didn't feel that good really come that Christmas, and you kind of you just didn't know really what to expect. But I don't think you can fault him. Of all the managers in the league, I think he gets us. I think we've got him. I know he's jumped ship before, but I don't see him ever moving away from us. I think he sort of has that respect and loyalty here, and yeah, for me, I wouldn't replace him with anyone in the league, to be honest. I don't think there's anyone, and I think he admits it as well. If he ever does get it wrong, because he has got it wrong a couple of times earlier on in the season, he admits it, and we tend to get a reactionary game the following one. I think there's a respect from the players and a sort of general understanding. But yeah, there's not even anyone I would really necessarily put above him tactically. I think he done a job on Wrexham. I predicted the Coventry fall off. I've still got the messages from back in October. I thought they would fall off, but there's no one I would put above him. I couldn't stand someone like. I think we were linked with Nathan Jones as well at one point. I'm sure.
Yeah, we were. We were.
And I laugh looking at it now, and when his wheels fall off, that definitely puts a smile on my face.
100%.
Brilliant. Right then, Sheffield Wednesday this weekend. Then, it's going to be a funny old atmosphere there, Tom, because of course, one Barry Bannon is going there. But not only that, if results go the way which they probably might do in midweek, you can actually relegate Sheffield Wednesday to League One. Do you have any bit of sympathy? Ever bit of sympathy for them, given that you've been in the not exactly the same plight, but you've had bad ownership yourself in the past, and see what happens when owners run a team into the ground?
I do feel for them. They're one of the biggest clubs in the country, and they've been treated like dirt on my shoe. It's not nice to see, but it's just not a good situation for them. And then I don't know if Alex Neil will play Barry Bannon. I think it's an odd one because there is still emotion for him there. So I don't know if it would be right to put him in the game. But then at the same time, he's got a job to do. So if he scores the winner to send them down, whoopee-doo. But it's a typical Millwall thing. I wouldn't be shocked if we lost that game. We always usually lose to teams that we should be beating. It would not shock me if they somehow get their miracle win.
Right. This is a team that haven't scored since Boxing Day. They haven't won in 15 straight games. They've only had an XG of 0.23.
You've got the script there already.
So I figured this out earlier on. I looked at Blackburn's results, who have absolutely fallen off a cliff, haven't they? They've only won 2 games in the last 21. They beat Sheffield Wednesday because everyone beats them, and they beat Millwall.
That's what I'm saying.
They beat us 2-0. Absolutely done a job on us. Those are the games I'm almost more worried about. We've got quite a turn of fixtures. Our next few, really, you could be looking for getting 9 out of 9, 12 out of 12 points there. And you just go, these are the ones that we just don't seem to come away from.
Honestly, that's what I mean.
Yeah, our Wednesday fans are ready to give him a good reception anyway. They're going to turn out for this one because of course he didn't get a chance to say goodbye to him properly. Right, we'll review that game, of course, on next week's episode. So join us for that. Drop us a sub and a subscribe if you haven't yet already done so. We absolutely love making this content for you, and of course follow these three on Twitter, of course, as well. We'll put all their handles in the descriptions below. Of course, on that day it's Valentine's Day as well. So once these three have got all their cards out of the way, getting out the door into the van up north, then we can start thinking about the players that we've made us first fall in love with Millwall. So thinking back to when you were younger, all of you, who was the first player that maybe you stuck on the back of your shirt or had posters up, I don't know, or collected stickers of if you're a little bit older like that. Let us know in the comments, of course, as well. We'll read some of these out next week. Rufus, for you, I know you're the youngest here, so I'm guessing it's going to be quite a relevant player or recent player. Who for you was your first player that you fell in love with?
Jake Cooper, honestly. The first Millwall game I went to was in August 2021. It was Millwall 2, Blackpool 1. We went 1-0 down and we come back. Jed Wallace scored a brilliant free kick. And then the last kick of the game, Jake Cooper scored a brilliant header. And that just gave me a brilliant memory of that game. And he's been superb for us ever since, Jake Cooper. And all the years back as well, he's been playing for us. And he's just one player I absolutely fell in love with instantly as soon as I saw him play for the first time in person.
Okay, Tom?
Gary Alexander. I went to the playoff final against Scunthorpe. I was 5 or 6, and I remember the game so vividly when he scored the best goal I've ever seen. And then I ended up meeting him a week later, had pictures done with him. What a man. Just what a man.
Brilliant. Mike?
For me, it'll probably actually be two. It was Tim Cahill and Paul Eiffel. I used to absolutely love Paul Eiffel. I remember the going to the Mother's Day massacre and just watching him on the wing. And yeah, that was kind of one of those first games where I always had season tickets when I was young, but it didn't sort of. Now looking back, those are the sort of like core memories. Is the semi-final in the FA Cup where Tim Cahill scores, and yeah, the Mother's Day massacre. Looking back, thinking about just that's such a part of like Millwall's history. It's like that's my core memory. Almost thinking back now, and that was the first sort of true love games, if that makes any sense. That yeah. If you could go back and watch another game, one of them.
Yeah, good shouts. Let us know in the comments. Transfer window has now closed. Mike, out of 10, how would you rate it?
Oh, good question. I would say, I'd say an 8. An 8. I know in a respect, but it could go to 7, but I think that'd be a bit harsh. But I like the players we brought in. I like that we didn't try and disrupt the squad too much and just throw, aimlessness at it. I think we're a bit light in a couple of areas. I think really we needed another. I'd like to have seen us get like a striker in, someone from the Premier League that's not getting minutes, and like I don't think it ever would have happened, but like Pirot from Leeds or someone of that caliber that can just take chances, because we're creating so much at the moment. And don't get me wrong, Coburn's getting his goals, and Ivanovic is in a sort of bit of a goal scoring form for January as well. But if we're really sort of serious about possibly making the top 2, I think having someone of that step up would have been the sort of next thing I would have gone for. I also think we're a bit light defensively, so God forbid like Kramer goes out injured, like Danny Mack is our backup, and it's chalk and cheese. They're not comparable in that sort of sense. And if all of a sudden, say for example, Cooper or Taylor gets injured, Kramer will then go back to centre back, which then weakens our right hand side again. So I think we're a little bit light in those areas, but we only brought in players that are going to sort of get involved in the first team and not just padding out. So I'm quite happy. And I think, to be honest, keeping Aziz and Kramer was as big as anything, to be honest. That's like 2 new signings. I know he's a bit unhappy that we rejected the move from Ipswich for the record fee, but yeah, I kind of think we've got our own plan.
Yeah. Any higher than 8 from any of you at the bottom there?
No, I'd probably say around an 8 myself.
Yeah, 8, yeah, Rufus?
Yeah, an 8.
Okay. Right. So the final item on today's agenda is A to Z time. So this means we choose one player or one event from Millwall's history to connecting with our letter this week, which of course is O. Now you're allowed overhead kicks if you can remember any. But has anyone across the panel got anything that you could put in for this item?
Shay Ojo.
I have. Oh, that's actually a good one. I
Okay.
didn't think of him.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Oh, I had Fred Onyendinma.
Okay.
Oh, that's another.
He was the only one I had. I forgot about Shay Ojo.
I'll go Aidan O'Brien.
Okay.
550
Ah,
caps.
that's another one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 74, 75 goals I think he got for us in the league or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. He's the first one that sort of come to my head as well.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's the one that people online were talking about last week, saying there's only one answer, unless we're going to get absolutely hammered in the comments now, and saying you completely mess this up.
It's harder than you think thinking of players on the spot. I know we get a little bit of time beforehand.
Well, I give you a week.
Yeah, true.
to be fair. Okay. Right, here's your 7-day notice. Next week we'll be asking you for the letter P, and also P is for penalties. We'll talk about penalties next week. What's the most important penalty you've ever watched Millwall take? What's the most nerve-wracking you've ever been watching a single penalty?
Barely get any.
Get your view
When
on
we do,
all
we
of
miss
that.
them.
Next week. Right, join us for that then. Yeah, O'Brien goes in then, Mike. Yeah, we're all happy with that.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. Thank you very much for watching. Of course, this week 20. We know there's lots of longer Millwall podcasts you can listen to, but this is 20 minutes, jam-packing everything that's going on at the club into one. Hopefully digestible podcast. Cheers, Tom. Thank you, Mike. Great, Rufus. Thank you very much.
Thank
All of
you.
you. We'll see you in 7 days' time. Good luck at Hillsborough. We'll be back in 7 days to review it all.